we're not the only ones that are enjoying that new Insomnia. I got involved in watching a reaction video. One guy said "God Forsaken" brought him to tears. Banger
Nice.
TV did a review that I'm about halfway through. Has nothing but brilliant things to really say. It's
Well,
so yeah.
I'm glad we're going to add to the chorus. They richly deserve it. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
So, all right. You got anything good to smoke, Joe?
How you feeling now, buddy? You all right?
Got your shit together?
No, man. I'm getting higher. My goal is to be a little even higher than I was last time.
He's going. I'm doing good, man.
I'm at a good. I got my notes. You know?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. It was funny on Unsane Radio last couple weeks ago. They were laughing. They said, "Can you imagine that Dr. Head would have been the biggest pothead out of us all?" I said, "Well, I got a lot of time to make up for. They've been smoking their whole lives, so
yeah. You got a lot of sobriety to make up for.
Yeah. All right, I am really ready to go.
All right, let's get this done.
Ready for some sore thumb chop topping?
You know it.
All right.
Volume 2.
Get them thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, president of Trom Entertainment and creator of George Clooney. When I feel, I could watch something really profound, really amusing, educational, the Troma team and I, we like to kick back and watch heavy metal horror podcasts because, when we're not making those movies like Romeo and Juliet and hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm and Class of Nukem High, there's nothing else in the world for us except that heavy metal podcast. Say it with me. Heavy metal horror podcast. Thank you, Montag and Chop Chop.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, this is Chop Top, and this one's gonna leave you sore.
Dreadbull. And you are watching and listening to heavy metal. All right.
See, Montag had to think about getting his fingers up. He's like,
which one? I was considering doing the shocker.
The shocker.
That would be a heavy metal horror. Waka, waka, waka.
Yeah, you're on lockdown.
Yes. Anyway, kids, we got a good show tonight. We are going back to Sore Thumb. These could be great albums with one otherwise shitty song, or mediocre albums with a atrociously shitty song, or just a song that doesn't fit in with like the rest of them for some reason. That's Sore Thumb. And that's
or it could be a shitty album with one good song on it.
Right.
That happens too.
That does happen.
I happen to have an example.
Wow, fantastic. Well, on that note, Dreadbull, please give us your very first Sore Thumb.
Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and go with that example.
Yes.
We're
going
all
a quiver.
We're traveling to 1990. Mr. Bruce Dickinson himself, Tattooed Millionaire album. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one good song on it. The opening track, Son of a Gun.
Okay.
Love that song.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could maybe make the argument for one or two other songs on that album.
You don't like Dive, Dive, Dive? No Muff Too Tough? We dive tonight. Come on, man.
Yeah, right. Exactly. My point. My point exactly. Yeah. Zulu licking the gun.
And you're thinking he's an artist, but he's like Paul Stanley. This is his Paul Stanley album.
It's Paul Stanley.
He just says it with a British accent.
Gypsy Road.
Love gun, love, I love gun. Hello, governor.
Yeah. So so something interesting to think about. This dawned on me when I was looking this up. So Bruce released this album May of 1990. The same year, October of that year, No Prayer for the Dying came out. That is the follow-up to Seventh Son.
Oh.
Yeah.
You start looking at the tracks on these two albums and you're like, did Bruce leave? He hadn't left yet at that time, but did he eventually leave because Maiden was getting shitty? Was he part of that? Because there's like some of the tracks on No Prayer for the Dying. Holy smoke.
Helen Wheel. Oh, the holy. Oh,
yeah,
that one.
Hooks in You.
Yeah.
You know, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. There are
Hooks in
some
You.
really shitty songs on that album that are reminiscent of Tattooed Millionaire. They could have fit on the
Huh.
same.
Interesting.
thinking,
I'd never
like,
made
yeah.
that connection before.
I didn't either, but
That's
that's a
pretty
good
cool.
point.
I'm
Because
freaking out a little bit.
I always thought that, I forgot that Bruce put out that solo album before the Maiden No Prayer. I thought he already left the band, so I'm glad you
I did
refreshed,
too until I looked this up today. I'm like, oh wait, he hadn't left yet.
He had
Yeah,
just
I
done a
thought this was
solo
a post.
tour. Well, that makes sense because he had when I met them that year, or when I met Yannick Gers, I said I saw him on that tour with Bruce, the Tattooed Millionaire tour, and I said, how long did you have between that end of that tour and the beginning of this, joining Maiden for this tour? And he said 3 days. And
Right.
so I'm like, okay, so it must have been going on in the works at the time.
Mhm.
Like Adrian Smith was
So
like,
you wonder the timing of it all. Were things starting to crumble? Was Bruce
well,
like,
because
Yeah.
remember when we talked to him, I asked him about that. I said, what happened after Seventh Son? I said, that was like your pinnacle. And they go, and I'm sorry, but the next album kind of was, kind of sucked. And he's like, he just kind of shook his head, like, yeah. And remember, he said that there were certain people in the band who wanted to go more of a classic rock sound. And so I'm wondering if he said he knew that the ship was sinking and he wanted to leave, but he stayed for those two albums. But he could tell
Yeah.
that the dynamic had changed. And I think he just got sick of it because when he started just doing nothing but screaming, it just sounded awful,
yeah. So when this came out, the only thing we knew from Maiden was Seventh Son.
Yeah.
That was their most recent album, and to that
Right.
point, we're like, okay. So Bruce came out with something like, oh, cool, maybe a little bit of Maiden-esque type stuff while we wait for the new Maiden album to come out. And when the opening track, Son of a Gun, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
This is not bad. And then track 2 hits. I'm like, what the hell? It was just awful. Like, Tattoo Millionaire is terrible. The opening 10 seconds sounds like a Poison song. It's just awful.
It's that same riff, but they got the big cowbell.
Yeah, it's just terrible. So
I'm not as strongly opposed to that. I mean, but you're right. It's probably the weakest out of his solo stuff. Although Balls to Picasso might be in there too.
Balls to Picasso, yeah, had some of those crappy ones, but had more
yeah.
good tracks too. So he was sort of
Right.
starting to trend towards more like good
Better
music,
material.
not just just fun, goofing off kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like.
This sounds like the music you
158.
want to play at a bar. That's what it is. It's bar music.
That's right.
That's Bruce Dickinson. Chop, what were we saying, man?
No, I said I totally agree with you. It is standard rock and roll bar music.
Yeah.
That's
So I mean, looking back, Tattooed Millionaire, No Prayer for the Dying, they're practically the same album. It's like all the same music on both albums.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
I don't want to go back and revisit those. I can't stand and sit there. Hooks in You or holy.
I can't.
Smoke.
Yeah, Hooks in You. What an awful song.
That's Adrian Smith wrote that one. It was like a loose
dude.
It was like a loose sequel to 22 Acacia Avenue. Because it's about sex. It's like sex chairs and Hooks in You, like hooking up for a real well hung feeling. It's about having sex, like with the sex apparati. Yeah, it's just like,
yeah, those were dark days, gentlemen. Dark days indeed.
Yeah, they've fucking lost it.
those were dark Maiden days. And
they were horrible.
Little do we know it would get worse before it gets any better. It really did get way worse.
I'd actually go back
when
to
two
diner.
worlds collide. Yes. Don't you know I can save you? Ooh, okay, Chop, your first sore thumb.
All right, gentlemen. This is coming off. It was 1984 debut album from Wasp.
Oh, okay. That's a good album.
Yeah, it's a great album. The turd in it for me.
The
Because
turd
you're surrounded by is called School Days. I pledge allegiance to the state. They get a pledge of allegiance and they're nice whiny fucking kids saying it. And then it goes. It doesn't fit. Again, I'm going back to. I go with flow and
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
now. Yeah, because you got before that. Now this is a remaster because originally they were going to have Animal Fuck Like a Beast on there.
Yes.
Well, Capitol got a lot of heat. They took it
What?
off and so
In the
you know,
80s?
yeah, and so I Want to Be Somebody was the leadoff single. On this one, it's a remaster and it's got Animal. Is the top song there, first one. So, but yeah, you go down this. You got Animal. You got I Want to Be Somebody, Love Machine, The Flame, BAD. Then you got School Days. But then you go
Is
into
Daze
Hellion.
spelled D-A-Z-E? Let me guess.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course.
Yeah. And then you go.
How
then you
else
go
is
into
it supposed to be spelled, Dreadbull?
Then you go into Hellion, Sleeping in the Fire, On Your Knees, Tormentor, Torture Never Stops. So it's right in the middle, and it doesn't need to be there. Take that song out. Perfect. That would be a perfect album without that track. So that is my first Sore Thumb selection.
Great
Good
choice.
for you. Yeah, nice.
Great choice.
All right. My first sore thumb is from a little band that we like to call Anthrax. From the Persistence of Time album. This is Intro to Reality. What we have is a musical interlude in an otherwise really heavy album. This is a really
Great album.
Great album.
There's
Yeah,
a great album.
Chop and I saw them on this tour. Opener for
Yeah,
the
the giant clock
Clash
spinning.
of the Titans. Yeah, the Clash of the Titans tour. Yeah.
So, they had that giant penis on the stage. He was running around with a 6-foot penis. Maybe no. I saw them with like Megadeth and like Testament. I
and
think
Megadeth and Slayer.
Oh.
It could have been. But I don't-
Slayer.
if there was
Slayer?
a giant penis, I would block it out. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
No, I don't remember that at all. No, I do remember the clock prop.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay.
you mean like maybe when they played I'm the Man?
Oh, that could be.
That
could
probably
be.
was it. If he have it out, that would make sense. When he's
Right,
if they're going to play I'm the Man. Yeah. That would make
Montag,
sense.
is that Intro to Reality? Isn't that the beginning? Well, it goes in the Belly of the Beast then? Is that track? Kind
Could
of
be.
right before. I think it is on that album. But yeah, it's
Possibly. It's
Go
just
ahead.
the main riff is really
Synopsis.
simple and repetitive. It's like they had an idea that never quite got developed fully. And there are little moments where it sounds like it might have been like a leftover riff from Master of Puppets that like didn't get used, and they just kind of like brought it in, but it just doesn't ever go anywhere, and it's like it just feels lackluster.
Yeah, it's weird. I forget about these tracks a lot of times because I'll end up making like a playlist and just omitting crappy ones like that. So I forget that they actually existed on that album at one time.
yeah. It's a great choice.
All right. Number 2, Dreadbull.
Let's go with, we're going to go back to 1985. This is a song I really like, but it's a sore thumb. Dio. Ronnie James Dio Sacred Heart album of 85, the opening track. So I remember getting this track. I'm not sure if it was, I don't know. I think I was out running errands with my mom or something. Talked her into buying this on tape for me. And we stopped somewhere. She went in to get something, and I'm like, I'm pop this in, listen to some Dio. And you hear crowd noise, like, oh, this is a live album? I had no, I didn't know this was live. It doesn't say anything on the front. No, it's not. It's just the opening track is a live track of King of Rock and Roll. And it's weird because it's the only live track on the album. They open the album with the live track. Doesn't make sense. Like, that's the only album I know of that opened, like, back then, if you had a live track,
I thought it was a
release
fake
it as
live track.
B-side.
Like the crowd noise was fake. I think
Well, maybe it is.
it's supposed to simulate a
it was
concert,
just-
but it still doesn't make any sense why they would have it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can-
Unless the
regardless.
idea of the king of rock and roll, it means live music and adoring fans and stuff like that.
I think all you had was that intro crowd noise and Ronnie going, "He's the king of rock and roll!" Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then you're welcome. And then
We gotta
it goes
play
into studio
karaoke,
mode.
man.
So I just thought that it was just that intro part, and Ronnie says
It could have been, but it still confused me.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, it could be.
Normally, if you have a live track, or whether it's real or not, you stick it at the end as a bonus track, or it's, back then you had the import release, the Japan release that had a couple extra bonus tracks on it, or it was a B-side or something. I always thought it was a little odd. I love the song. I think it's great.
Okay.
But yeah,
Just
it
that part of
weird.
it just kind
It just sticks out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's a sore thumb, in my opinion.
All right. Good job.
All right, fellas, we're going to keep on the Dio train from 1984's Last in Line.
Okay.
I have the song Eat Your Heart Out.
Ooh.
The lyrics are probably some of Ronnie's worst ever. The song is just, so eat your heart out. It's like, you've been a bad girl. It's like,
I
oh
want to
my
watch
God.
Joe sing everything. Chop Chop.
Yeah, you can
sing all the
karaoke
chop,
night.
chop Chop karaoke.
This is great.
All right,
So, yeah,
tonight,
it's
kids,
just-
Chop Top singing Dio concert.
This is a near damn perfect album other than that track. Everything else is stellar. But that is a sore thumb that sticks out. It's the 8th track out of 9. Because after that, you got Egypt, the chains are on, which is fucking epic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's the one, guys. I just really on that. Love Ronnie, but that fucking song stinks.
Fuck that
I'm
song.
with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
That's maybe my favorite Dio album, I think. I like that even better than
That
Holy
is so
Diver.
good. Yeah.
Wow. Great.
I
good
think that's
choice.
what maybe that's a question of why people rave that Holy Diver is his best work and they hold it in such high regard, and Last in Line isn't, because maybe that track threw people and they just said,
Maybe
what?
that ruins it.
Because Holy Diver's perfect all the way through. So, but then you get that and it's like, yeah. But the rest of that album is greatness, and it's definitely in my top 2 Dios. So,
All right.
Yeah, interesting. I was looking at some Dio stuff and I'm like, all in all, his albums are usually pretty solid all the way through. It's a little hard to find a sore thumb in his discography.
yeah, it was well, Magica was kind of
When you get to the later stuff, yeah.
Magica is a sore thumb.
Angry Machines. No, Angry Machines fucking tears everything down. That's a horrendous album.
Yeah. I was thinking more of the golden era of Dio.
Oh yeah, I
That
couldn't
stuff,
touch
and
him. Couldn't
Dream
touch him.
Evil, Sacred Heart, that Last in
Mhm.
Line, all
Yeah.
So yeah, good choice though. I
All right,
agree with
thank
that.
you.
All right, for my second choice,
Montag.
it's Dreadbull's favorite band. You wanted the best. Who's got the best? Yeah. Off of their second album, Hotter Than Hell. Their second album in 6 months. They put 2 albums out in the first 6 months
Right.
they're out. This is a song called Mainline.
Oh,
Mainline. And I
You've
don't
been
know the
running
rest
on
of the
the
words
main
that
line.
rhyme. Yeah, it's a Peter Criss song. Now, this album, second album, it's a very, you might like the sound of the engineering Dreadbull because you like sludgy albums. This album is really fucking sludgy. It's actually I don't think intentionally meant to be that way. It just got really mixed badly.
Yeah,
But it's fucking heavy. Songs like
It
Parasite,
is.
Hotter Than Hell, Going Blind. I mean, this is a great sophomore effort from their first album, which had a lot of hits on it.
Yeah.
And then, it's a super sludgy, which might be why they went to super tinny on the next album. But anyway, Mainline, most of Peter Criss's songs are pretty bad. Except
Yeah,
the one,
yeah,
except
agreed.
Black Diamond. He sings on that one. That's a great song. One of my
Well, you don't
favorite.
like Baby Driver? Go, baby.
That's on my list, man. It's for another sore thumb.
How many thumbs are on that album? Jesus.
60. Mainline feels like a throwaway.
It's a mutant.
A throwaway sound that would show up in later albums. It's simple, it's repetitive, it's poppy sounding, and all the cowbells in the world can't save this uninspired song. That's my review of Mainline.
Yep.
What do you think,
Great
Chop?
choice. All right, Dread.
They're all sore, so I don't have anything to add.
Knew it was coming.
So yeah, okay, my third one here. This should have been my number 2 to follow up Tattooed Millionaire, because this is off of Fear of the Dark. So 82's Maiden. So you, Montag, came up with a worthy entry to this with Weekend Warrior.
Yeah, Weekend Warrior.
Pretty horrendous.
It is
I
horrendous.
submit to you there are 2 sore thumbs on this album.
Okay.
From
Only
Here
2.
to Eternity is
Oh.
god-awful.
Yeah, that's bad.
The
That
first
is really
20
bad.
seconds sounds like a freaking Cinderella song, right? It's
Right.
kind of this weird bluesy hair metal
Yeah.
guitar riff, real basic drums, the most basic beat imaginable, and then it just gets worse. Like the
too
first
far.
line of the song, she
Fell
fell in love,
with his greasing machine.
leaned over, wiped his kickstart clean. Like,
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
come on,
Like a-
is this
a
Licking the
fucking
Gun
video.
part 2?
They
Video's
were.
ridiculous, too.
Who wrote that? Was it Steve Harris?
Good
Here's
question.
Sid.
I could probably look it up real
I
quick.
think so.
I
Like
do.
he was out slumming, like paying people. Like, oh, write me a lyric. I don't care what it is. Just write me a fucking lyric.
Steve Harris.
Here's,
It
I'll
was
buy you a
indeed.
fucking beer. A pint.
Dark
Yeah.
days indeed. Dark days
Okay,
indeed.
yeah. I mean, now look, we love Iron Maiden. We love Steve Harris. His songwriting, as a
It was
main
indeed
main
Steve.
sort of, it was just bad, Steve. I mean, he's done so much good stuff. But I agree with you, man. This is a really shitty song.
What's really sad is like the opening track, "Be Quick or Be Dead," was a
actually
good
pretty
track.
good.
Was a really good song, and I thought, okay, after No Prayer for the Dying, we're back. Maiden's back. They're going to get back to they learned some lessons from No Prayer for the Dying, but
Yeah.
it gives you some hope, and then boom, track 2 just dashes your hopes. It's
And
gone.
that video's
It's over.
fucking ridiculous too.
Yeah, they were really in like full on classic rock mode in this
Yep.
album.
Yeah, or trying to write like radio friendly.
Right. Like those are clever
I don't know
metaphors.
what the hell they were thinking.
If you're ripping Paul Stanley for saying "lick my love gun," this is every bit as bad,
Yeah.
and not nearly as well. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not clever.
Like, how do you sit
medical-
down Steve Harris and write, "She fell in love with his greasy machine"? Yeah, that's good. What rhymes with machine? Rhymes. She leaned over and wiped his kickstart clean. Yes,
This song's
is
running
great.
itself.
This is
Yeah.
genius. Forget
Ah!
Revolution Mariner. This is the best shit I've
Yeah.
ever written. Like, this is
Fuck you, Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
no. Like,
Oh,
did he
good
get hit on
choice,
the
Brad.
head? It's like, I don't know.
They were just checking out.
Yeah, they were.
They were
They
trying
were.
to do a more.
I don't know
more
how
radio
you,
friendly-
in good conscience, release something like that and to the
Yeah.
public, to your fans
It's a bad
who have
album.
followed you for decades.
We love Iron Maiden, but
Yep.
that's a bad album, man.
Well, and that's why it hurts so much because
Yeah.
I love Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Come on,
But
don't do this
the
shit.
truth. We follow the truth.
See, we were spoiled.
Search for the
because of those
truth.
many years.
The
spoiled.
truth.
We were so spoiled, guys, because we had the privilege of growing up during a golden time
Yeah.
where everything was released up to 7 Sun was stellar.
Yeah.
My
And
God,
then
you
go-
live. Yeah.
And then my God, then you go into No Prayer and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
boy.
You think of the music that came out between like 82 and 85 or 6 was every good album you can possibly think of came
Oh,
out
yeah.
in that era, in
So
mid
many good
80s.
albums. Yeah. So
Yeah.
many good albums.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Who
There you
was that? Was that you, Tread, or is that you,
Yeah,
Chopped?
that was me.
Okay, Chop. What's your number 2 or 3?
All right, fellas. My number 3 is from Ozzy Osbourne's Bark at the Moon,
I
and
consider
it is
this.
so tired.
I am so tired.
It sounds like he's tired.
That
Sharon!
fucking horrible,
I'm
fucking
fucking
horrible,
tired, Sharon. What you doing
fucking
the
horrible
remote?
chorus, lame ass fucking synthesizer. It's a fucking piece of shit. It's a horrible song on an album that, hey guys, we always say like the first 3 Oz albums are like, I think you can agree with me, were pretty much our faves, right? I mean, they're
Yeah.
just brilliant.
Yeah.
But that song takes that momentum all the way. I mean, here you got Bark at the Moon, of course. You're no different. Now you see it, now you don't. I love that fucking guitar riff.
Mhm.
You got I Can Even Deal, Center of Eternity, Rock and Roll Rebel. Slow Down, it could be arguable. It's like, well, it's kind of upbeat, kind of more in a major key and stuff. It's different. But Waiting for Darkness that Sorcerer covers, that is a epic Ozzy song. So
Yeah.
it's the turn in the punch bowl that takes the flavor right out of this fucking album. So,
I perused that album and I was considering that myself. So I'm glad you covered it.
you're
I just
welcome.
had some larger turds that I thought I could offer. Bigger turds.
One. Ah, okay. Well, speaking of turds,
Bring it on.
my number 3 it's just a decline, oxymoronic decline of the creative piston vinegar of the band, but incline in sales and popularity. This is a band called Van Halen. I don't know if you've heard of them. This is an album,
Vaguely.
OU812. Clever use of letters and numbers.
Yeah.
Or OU812. Could be that one.
As a
too.
response to Eat 'em and Smile, correct? David Lee Roth's
Yeah,
solo
Yeah,
album,
around the same time,
I think
right?
so.
I believe, was the
Whereas
legend at least.
David Lee Roth's album still, that's what makes the 2 versions of Van Halen. We have the David Lee Roth and then the Sammy Hagar, and Van Halen with David Lee Roth is dangerous. It's exciting. It's
Yeah.
there's something about this, and it's the swagger that comes from David Lee Roth. When Van Hagar comes over, the band turns into a party band. It's a
Yep.
feel good band, because I remember when I saw them
Yep.
in '88, it
Yeah.
was such a fucking high energy show. It was like eating like 15 Twinkies,
Mhm.
but it didn't have that menace or that intensity. Like when you hear old Van Halen, like the Cradle Will Rock or anything off of Fair Warning,
Oh my
it's
God,
like that whole era is just, they were just two different bands.
It's like they turn into Jimmy Buffett or something to me. Like, let's just all party and
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
it was,
like
it was
party
just like
music,
feel good, but all the menace is gone. But
Yep.
on that bad
I agree.
album, I don't think did I tell you which song was the Sore
Not
Thumb?
yet. No, we're
Okay.
still waiting with bated breath.
When it's love.
Oh,
okay.
How do I know when it's love?
When it's Oh God, they
Yeah,
played
it's a
that
horrible
to
song. And
death.
with those,
on
some
MTV.
kind of crazy alien thing, and it's just bad keyboards. It's a horrible
Yeah.
song.
great choice.
But I love the production of the album.
It
The
is.
album
It's
sounds
nice.
great,
Yeah.
but a ton of it just sold a ton of records. It just goes to show that you don't have to make a good song to sell to the masses.
I think we should change the name of this show from Sore Thumb to Turd in the Punch Bowl.
Punch Bowl Turd. Welcome to Punch Bowl Turd in the Punch Bowl.
Turd in the Punch Bowl of Volume 2.
That sounds good. On our next shitty episode of What's the Turd in the Punch Bowl? What stinks? These songs.
Something's wrong with this punch.
It's the turdy songs. I'm fine with that. Turd in the Punch Bowl.
Turd in the punch
Yeah.
bowl.
That's no problem. Oh fuck. We are on song number 4, Dreadbull.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 1997's Megadeth release, Cryptic Writings.
Hmm.
So this was I know that like this era of Megadeth was a bit divisive. A lot of people didn't like, after Rust in Peace, the change in direction with Countdown, Euthanasia, Cryptic Writings, Risk, all those albums. But I kind of love every era of Megadeth for what it is. I like that
Mhm.
they've evolved and changed over time. But the track on this album is "I'll Get Even." I love this album, but this particular track sticks out because I don't know, it's just boring. I just find it a boring,
I agree.
one of those boring throwaway tracks
Mhm.
in an otherwise really good album. It's surrounded by
Yeah,
really
I
good
like
songs.
that album too, Dread. I like that album quite a bit too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chorus is super repetitive, and it's not a good repetitive. It's because the chorus is boring as well, I thought. And by the end, you're just like, yeah, I get it. Let's just move on.
yeah,
You
you're
just
gonna get
want to
even
get.
with you. Yeah, we got it, Dave. Mega Dave, we got it.
Yeah. There is
Now
one
get the
thing I
fuck off the
noticed though.
bus. Yeah.
Right. One thing I noticed, like while perusing Megadeth's library, is I found it really hard to find a turd in the punch bowl in Megadeth's library. Like most of their albums are really consistent, are really great songs, top to bottom.
Risk.
I know Risk is another really, I like that album a lot, but there are some turds on that one. So yeah, that could
lot of
be for a
turds.
future.
Can't fill up
For
that
future.
punch bowl enough with the turds on that fucking album. But,
Somebody took a massive shit in the punch bowl.
It's a Thanksgiving shit in the Punch Bowl.
Yeah.
it's a fucking Admiral's feast, all right? It's right there.
I talked about like looking through Ozzy's discography, and that's a little tough. Even Judas Priest is hard to find a turd in the punch bowl, I think, on their albums. Have you guys run into that?
I got one.
Certain bands that it's hard
Certain
to find.
bands-
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of bands
Yeah,
that
it's
are hard.
Like you're really trying to search for it, but you're just like, man, I just can't bring myself. I can't find it.
Do you get any examples of that? Like a band that you're struggling to find a bad song?
I would
or
say because I went through my Priest collection, I'm just like, yeah, I can't. I like a little bit of every era of Priest. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
and their
I
albums
mean,
are
yeah,
consistent.
arguably you could say the whole fucking album, Nostradamus, is the biggest fucking shit ever.
Yeah.
Out of bands. But I mean, if you're looking at single track,
Right.
it's really difficult.
Yeah, Priest was definitely one for me that I struggle with.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Agreed.
I thought that was interesting. Like they're consistent at least, and within the confines of a certain album.
Mhm.
Rush, I would struggle with. There are only a couple songs that aren't as good.
True, that's another
Which
one.
we
It's not-
covered in episode 1. Think I'm going
Yeah.
bald. We talked
Oh,
about
I know you
that
don't
one.
like that. I like that. No, I was thinking more like Countdown. on signals. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's not compared to the rest of the album. It just not as good. So.
Yep.
All right.
great choice. All right, fellas. I don't have the proper disc. I don't know where I placed it, but it's a Black Sabbath album. It's off Sabotage, and it's "Am I Insane?" Radio, in parentheses. That song, this album is perfection. This is an awesome fucking album. That fucking song has Mexican horns in the beginning of it, and it's just too bouncy and la la la, and it's fucking stupid. It may be the worst fucking Sabbath song ever created. So hate it.
I love your passion.
Yeah,
I
I'm
really
very
love your
passionate
passion.
about my all the way collections and my bands. But that, yeah, it might be the worst Sabbath song. And they actually put it on their greatest hits 2 CD set. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Somebody actually liked this motherfucker? But
apparently they did. We
Well,
love
I know
this
they just put a
song.
lot of-
Yeah, fucking radio.
yeah, am I going insane? Yes.
Oh.
But yeah,
Oh boy.
sorry, boys. But yeah, that's number 2.
Okay, my next pick is from a band we all love, from their best, arguably their best album. A little band called Iron Maiden, a little album called Peace of Mind.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Peace of Mind?
Mm-hmm.
I might know where you're going with it.
We're going with the bands that live. That's Power Slave.
The duel. Oh, it is. Yeah, right. Sun and Steel. Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
I just say not too many bands try to write about movies about cavemen for a reason.
I knew it. Horrible
I say
song.
this may it's what may be the Iron Maiden
I like
album.
this song.
Drawn by quest for fire.
I like that song.
It's just
so I couldn't think of one.
It's just like
where dinosaurs walk the earth.
See, it's great vocals.
He has that great hits a couple of great notes. It's not that. It's just the song is just not
Drawn back quest for fire.
right. Compared to like Where Eagles Dare or To Tame a Land.
Yeah, no comparison.
We have Quest for Fire, which was a movie with I think Daryl Hannah playing a cave.
Horrible movie. Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
Bunch of cavemen going around banging the cave girls. That's not what it is. Horrible.
What movie? What year was that?
But no, it was just like I don't think there was any fucking dialogue in it. It was just
I just literally
so
before language.
stupid.
The Sumerians had developed their language already.
Sure.
But anyway, so Quest for Fire. The beginning is kind of complex. Got that really nice riff, and it builds, but the rest of the songs kind of stays in one riff. Dun 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 dun.
That's a great riff.
Yeah,
it's a really good riff.
It's just and the solo's kind of like lackluster. It's like, to me, it's my sore thumb. And otherwise, great album. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
You can still like it. Doesn't mean you can't like it. It just, again, the idea of what doesn't seem to fit.
Right. I guess
thematically it does.
Consider the rest of the album.
Musically, it's not as successful. I mean, compare like the Tame of Land with this one. It's like, or Where Eagles Dare, vastly different songs, but yeah, this one just is too repetitive, too simple.
Yes.
Okay. There's number 4 for me. Our last one, our very last
little
one.
turd. That's like a little rabbit turd.
All right. The number rabbit turd for Dreadbull.
Let's see. Last one here. We're going with Pantera. We have not had a Pantera song. Off of 1994's Far Beyond Driven.
I might know where you're going with
this weird freaking little song called Good Friends in a Bottle of Pills. What the hell are you thinking, guys? Like, Pantera's in their prime during this era. They're coming off Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display. Far Beyond Driven just continues this just absolute torrid careers that they got going. Some great songs. 5 Minutes Alone, Becoming, I'm Broken. Right after I'm Broken, this weird little track. It's like, it's just kind of like a bass line, a drum beat, and then Phil sounding stoned, telling this little story about banging some dude's girlfriend while the guy's passed out drunk or something. It's just weird, man. It feels like a track that they were probably all high, sitting in the studio, farting around. Somebody came up with a beat and they just threw this together, and like in their stone minds they thought this is cool. We'll
Yeah,
put this
you
on
would think
the
that
album.
hopefully that the engineer wouldn't have been stoned as well and go, guys, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of a buzzkill on the album because it's such a high energy album that this track is just get past it so we can rock out some more, and that's all this track is a buzzkill. Right
Yeah,
after I'm
If
broken,
if you were going to do something like that, put it at the last track of the album or a secret bonus track.
yeah, to make it easy to
yeah.
skip or something.
yeah.
Smack in the middle of the album,
Right.
it just serves no purpose other than just to sap
Other
your
than
energy.
tell you then to flip the record over.
Right. Yeah. So whatever, smoke another doob or
I
something.
thought about that one myself, Fred. So
Did you?
good. Yeah. That just takes away from an otherwise brilliant album. It was like,
Yeah. Big old turd. Big turd.
All right. Can you chop that? Chop top?
I
Or
think
top
I
that
can.
chop top?
I have maybe a biggest turd of the night on Kiss's Love Gun album.
Nice.
Yes.
Last song.
It's a
Then
great
She
fucking
Kissed
cover
Me.
though. Oh yeah, the cover. Right. Then she
Yeah.
kissed me.
Then
Yeah.
she kissed me. Okay.
Then
Yeah.
she kissed me.
Yeah.
And it even has that
Yeah.
kind of that rim shot, that kind of a what is it? A little I forget the name of the instrument.
Yeah,
Like
I forget
a
too, but
go-go or something.
Yeah.
where you-
Wow.
yeah,
This was like they covered it from I forget
Is
the
it
name
Tears
of the
for Fears song
1950s
or
no.
1950s female band, but they
Yeah,
covered
it's,
it and
yeah,
they
it was
changed it. Oh, we'll
it was
be funny with Then She Kissed Me, and it's like
I don't think
this
they were
is
trying to be
fucking
funny, but
no, I think they thought it was
unironic. It
serious.
wasn't.
That-
No, they did some other covers though. Like I know on Gene Simmons' solo album, he did that really unironic cover of "Wish Upon a Star." Like he really meant it.
Oh God,
he
When he
really
wakes-
meant it?
Oh, I should maybe I didn't blow. Should have done a blown. That would have been really another good sore thumb.
I think he did Somewhere Over the Rainbow too.
Yeah, yeah. Like what
Oh,
the fuck,
God.
man? Um, yeah. There's plenty of good Kiss sore thumbs out there,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I agree with you there, Chop. It certainly doesn't sound like it belongs in that album because it's a really good
No.
album. Love Gun's a good album.
I love Love Gun. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hooligan might be a little, but I can tolerate it. You
Yeah,
know.
it's not as bad as others. Right.
Mama said
I Stole Your
was a
Love. I
hooligan.
Stole Your Love and Love Gun are my two favorite tracks off that
Oh,
album. I
dude,
Stole Your Love
no.
might be like the one Kiss song. If you're gonna have one Kiss song, it might just be I Stole Your Love.
I'm kind of in the boat with you about that because I
'Cause
think
the
that might
riffing
be
is
all time-
great.
That riff is fantastic.
Yeah, it's very Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna do a Kiss deep
Wow.
dive and bring Spread Jewel into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've it seems like a whole turd pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome.
I'm glad
Welcome to the club.
I've
Yeah.
avoided all these turds. To be
Yeah,
honest,
there's a lot of turds in there.
turds.
But there's some really
A
good
lot of
stuff.
turds.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff too.
There's a few baby Ruths among the Hirsch, among the turds. So
All I can think about is Kiss is us growing up, and every time like somebody lit a fire, like there was a fireball of some sort, you would always say "Kiss." Every time. Anytime there was a fire and explosion,
right.
Montag would have to go "Kiss." Play a riff.
That
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like that sounds about right. I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
do it when
I
we're
know,
watching.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, like we're watching on the same radio. We'll get together and we'll watch movies together. And if there's an explosion, I'll go "Kiss." I still do it. Oh man. Well, now it's just kind of kind of funny. Yes. We could do a whole episode on Kiss sore thumbs. I got enough to make two hands. All right. Oh.
Okay, my number one.
Someone we're getting slap happy.
I
Oh,
know,
boy.
right?
Yeah,
I'm tired myself.
Yeah, you've been smoking something else, Dreadbull. All right. For my last pick in this episode of I've already done Kiss. This is a band that we all love from its prime era. This is from Judas Priest, from
Oh,
Defenders of the Faith,
Oh,
which I think is I think maybe their best album.
Boy,
Kinda-
yeah.
I
So
love
the
it.
album that I or the song on this album, and this is from the remastered version. So I don't think it came out when it first came out, but it's in the remastered version. It's called "Turn On Your Light."
Yeah,
Oh.
it was
It
a
is-
bonus because I
it-
got the complete collection.
Yeah,
hell
it
of a
is.
deal.
It is a it's an acoustic ballad that feels utterly out of place, both musically and lyrically. There's strings. The solo follows faithfully with the chord progressions, but there's nothing worth listening to a second time. And to try to hear Rob Halford sing a croony ballad like Love, turn on your light. I'm like, oh Jesus! It's like Disney Goes to Hell. That's what it's like. Fucking Rob Halford has to sing fucking Beauty and the Beast.
Those steel pipes are not made for those kind of vocals.
Exactly. It was just garbage. So,
Oh boy.
Judas Priest, turn on your light. What the fuck,
Wow.
guys? Seriously, why release that?
Yeah,
Piece of shit. On an otherwise, I think perfect record.
Stellar album.
It's a
Absolutely.
phenomenal record.
Yeah.
Free Will Burning, Jawbreaker, The Sentinel, Eat Me Alive. Like Jesus, what a great.
Yeah,
album.
like Screaming for Vengeance, Defenders of the Faith, man, really golden era for
That's a
Yes.
hell of a 1-2
Priest.
punch, isn't it? That was
Yeah.
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 I mean, that artwork just defines Judas Priest, burns
Yep.
it into my skull. That was the first. Because
something.
Defenders of the Faith was the first Priest album I'd ever heard. So, to
Oh,
me,
God,
it
yeah.
was like, what a great introduction to the band.
I
Mhm.
think it might have been mine too.
Yeah,
Some of the
just-
best riffs, guitar riffs in metal history
yeah,
in those two albums. you
yeah,
know.
fucking great. Just,
Free Will
just
Burning. Yeah,
Mhm.
good God.
great. But even the mighty Judas Priest is not immune from having the
Everyone
occasional
poops.
Everyone poops in the punch bowl.
Everybody does it.
Punch bowl.
Everybody poops in the punch bowl, and this is how we get a turdy song.
Oh my God.
Fuck. What time
Oh,
is
this
it?
is great.
This is great. I have
6:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good song. I'm glad we're recording. I'm not gonna fucking remember it in 20 minutes.
Everybody poops in the punch bowl. We got a new theme song for heavy metal horror, right? Everybody poops in the punch bowl.
That's it.
All you
I'm
need is
gonna
that fucking
hey,
frog,
one-
the Warner Brothers frog going,
Listen,
"Hello, my
listen.
lady.
Hey,
Hello, my
Sorcerer's in the
darling."
studio.
I was gonna say,
You record
call
that for
Justin and Christian. Hey, we get a song.
while you're in there.
Everybody poops in the punch bowl. You gotta do the dance.
Yeah, you need a little Warner Brothers frog going across, going, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling."
Oh,
you're
that would
singing
be
that
a
song.
great B-side. Everybody poops in the
Poops
punch
in the
bowl.
punch bowl.
That's how we get a lot of turdy songs. It'll be as catchy as the South Park theme song.
Oh yeah.
That would be fucking
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Oh, God,
Dude.
this was a fun episode, man. Had a
Yeah,
good time.
yeah, good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Whew, yeah.
Good Lord, man.
Hey, I can't wait. Can't wait. We got some good stuff coming up here, and we're glad to be back. Glad to have you with us.
Oh God.
Continue putting your comments out there. Hey, you can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's probably where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. This is Montag, Last Revolution.
Chop top.
Dread turd in the punch bowl.
And you are turning and turning on.
Heavy
Metal Punch
bowl.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.